wild as a bug in love.
Con questo sorriso, Keith Richards racconta 25 anni di vita e di rock. È stato ed è l'anima musicale dei Rolling Stones e ora, dopo aver realizzato il suo primo album da solo, è più che mai deciso a riprendere la strada con i suoi mitici compagni di viaggio.
This is just a dream. A simple conversation every now and then, a touchy situation, yeah, fascinates a man. What shall I do if I should see and have to pretend that we have never met? It's not a cheap sensation when you touch me with your hand. A little complication, but it can hypnotize a man.
Dopo più di 25 anni, che cosa ti ha spinto a realizzare il tuo primo disco da solista? Quando hai scritto i pezzi di questo album?
If I'm working with the Rolling Stones, to make a solo album is to me stupid, because if I write a song, I have to decide whether I keep it for myself or whether I put it to give it to the Rolling Stones. It's like Solomon and the baby. You cut yourself in half, and that to me is stupid. I did this because the Rolling Stones at the moment aren't working together, and as the other half of the question, the songs, they're all new. They were written since February of last year. I didn't want to use, although I have many songs left over from the Rolling Stones, I didn't use any of those. I wanted fresca.
Cosa ti aspetti da questo disco?
I've made a record. I am very happy with the results, especially for a first record. I think it has a certain. Maybe I'm even lying a little bit. Because let me be truthful. What I'm hoping is that it will push the music business and people that buy records and listen to music that don't have a lot of time to think about it, just to realize that a lot of this push button synthesization and sampling, etc., is a dead-end street. Yeah, this music is human. It's natural, and you need people that work together, musicians that can play together and record together, and to make it more natural.
Il fatto che non ci sia Mick Jagger a cantare i pezzi...
Allora faccio di chi ci non vuole male.
Il fatto che non ci sia Mick Jagger a cantare i pezzi questa volta ti ha dato una maggiore libertà e autonomia creativa?
Oh yes, yeah, I think very much. There was a certain, how do you say, trepidation amongst certain people about, you know, people would say, well, you're making a solo record, who's singing? And, but to myself, no problem. You know, I knew that the more work I had to do vocally and sing, the better it would get and the more ideas I would get. So to me, it's a very much experiment, but I've always loved singing, and if you hear Rolling Stones records, it's not just who's singing the lead vocal, it's a lot of the backup voices and the harmonies and stuff, which I would virtually arrange and control and my creation. So I've been singing, I was a soprano, I had a beautiful voice when I was a baby.
Hai suonato con Aretha Franklin un pezzo di Rolling Stones, Jumping Jack Flash.
Sì.
Com'è stata questa tua esperienza con Aretha? Cosa pensi di lei?
Aretha could ask me to do anything, and I would do it, because her voice to me is a national, an international treasure. The only thing I said to Aretha was that you must play piano, and she said, nobody's asked me to do that.
Sei stato, Kit, un punto di riferimento molto importante per il film di Chuck Berry, I Rock and Roll. È vero che non è stato un rapporto facile?
Nobody has an easy relationship with Chuck.
I am not playing. I'm turning me away from it.
Why not check the tape out, Chuck?
Well, don't touch my hair. Then it won't be done.
He already said he didn't.
Well, he says why it's being done.
Why it's being done is because it's not recording well.
Okay.
And that's what's going to end up on the film. That's why they're doing it, because that's the way it's going to end up on the film.
If it winds up on the film, that's the way Chuck Berry plays it. You understand?
I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
Well, I was talking to anybody.
But you got to live with it afterwards. They're trying to
I've been living for 60 years with it.
I know that.
Okay, well then realize it.
But is it going to be here after all dead and gone? All right, it ain't you and me and no, it's
Well, I ain't
everybody.
dying. Now they ain't dying.
È vero che Chuck ha preteso persino che pagassi l'affitto degli strumenti?
Yeah, the film company had to, not myself personally, but yeah, he charged them rental to rehearse in his own house. Yeah, sure. Chuck is, you see in the movie, if you ever see the movie,
yeah.
You know, Chuck. But then you must realize that for a guy like Chuck Berry, comes from the wrong side of the town in St. Louis in the 40s and the early 50s, that one of the few ways to be able to progress and get out of there is show business and money. And I think personally that he takes it a little too far, but it's understandable.
Qual è il prezzo che Keith Richards ha dovuto pagare al successo? Pur di averne, torneresti di nuovo a pagare quello stesso prezzo?
No regrets. And the price, I can't tell you the price. I don't know. I mean, to me, success is something that just happened. It wasn't, I didn't look for it. The Rolling Stones started their career, and the reason to put the Rolling Stones together, we were almost Jesuits, you know, missionaries, idealists. We wanted to turn people on to Muddy Waters and Jimmy Reed, Howling Wolf, and turn people onto this music that they weren't getting a chance to hear. We were working for them in a way. We had no intention, no idea that the Rolling Stones would become the thing they did. And in fact, obviously it killed a few guys in the Rolling Stones. It ruined, you know, I mean, nobody was looking to be a star. Nobody saw the possibility of it.
Non hai mai nascosto di prendere droghe. Perché hai sempre sentito questa necessità allora? E che cosa ti dava la droga e perché hai smesso?
That's easy. A musician's life is intimately wound up with drugs. It's part of the job, almost. But it's not in so much, you know, just to get high. It's to get from one city to another city, and you're working 350 days of the year, and maybe you have 6 days off to make a record. Why did I stop it? It was because I realized I was ruining everybody's life around me, including the Rolling Stones. That it was, I thought I was going to jail for many, many years, and that I wasn't going to see my children, I wasn't going to be able to do my music, and I realized that it was time to stop. Personally, I would have preferred it to be a private problem to deal with, but being famous puts these other pressures on you, and so you have to deal with it in public, you know.
Hear the screams of Santa 42, loud enough to burst the brain there. The opposition's tongue is cut in two. Keep off the street 'cause you're in danger. 100,000 disparate, lost in the jails in South America. Curl up, baby, curl up tight, curl up, baby.
C'è stato un momento chiave nella tua attività e in quella degli Stones. Dopo Dirty Work, contrariamente a quello che tu pensavi, Mick Jagger ti ha detto che non sareste andati in tournée. Qual è stata la tua reazione? Che cosa hai pensato in quel momento?
Immensely pissed off. I don't know if you can translate that into Italian there, but also at the same time I understood, because we've been talking about Ian Stewart, and who had died just a few months before, and I think that to me Ian Stewart was in a way like the glue that is stuff that made the Rolling Stones stick together. And I think with Mick's own ideas at the time of what he wanted to do, and with Stu morto, that the shock that both of them together was too much of a trauma for the Rolling Stones to be able to carry on for a while. But I think that slowly they'll get over it, you know. If not, they got to look me in the eye, you know.
Come sono cambiati da quel momento i tuoi rapporti con Mick? Sono peggiorati? E come sono ora i tuoi rapporti con Mick Jagger?
It got worse for a while. Now it's getting better. And it's two friends that have known each other for many, many, many years, you know, and
Thank you very, very much for waiting, New Jersey. Would you like to please
È vero che nell'89 i Rolling Stones torneranno insieme per un nuovo disco e per un nuovo tour, un nuovo grande tour.
I think that it is very likely, very probable, more than possible, very probable. Yes, short answer, sì.
E tu sei felice di questo?
Of course, I think the Rolling Stones are important. I think that they are at a point where they can take this music further and make it grow up, and that it's a very, to me, one of the most exciting points of the Rolling Stones' career, just because they're still together and still around, and if we can work together, we can go like Columbus and find out, you know, or Magellan, and find out if the world is round for rock and roll. See if we can roll it around the world, you know, to make it grow up, to be able to live your whole life with it instead of just being a juvenile and teenage thing. It's a very young music, but it's a very universal music, and I think it would be incredibly stupid for the Rolling Stones not to attempt and find out if this is possible to be done.
Thank you.
Molto grazie.
But things ain't what they seem.